Every month when I have to pay rent, it is just amazing to me that this small town that I live in Central Florida, that is literally horse country, costs $1,500 a month. $1,500 a month for a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom, tiny ass, not even 1,000 square foot apartment. $1,500 a month. And the utilities are outrageous because it's so damn hot here. And I genuinely don't think this apartment has good insulation. I don't know. Because I'm spending between $350 and sometimes max $400 on utilities in the summertime here.
Horse country in Florida, $1,500, 2 bedrooms. Whew. Thought Florida was cheap. I guess not.
Like, and then I'm spending $800 to $1,000 a month.
She can't even find a separate. Sorry, she can't even find a separate room for her kids while she's recording. Only 2 bedrooms.
In Florida, just to survive for my family.
That's why you hear him in the background. If she had a 4-bedroom, she could have went and did this video in a different room. If she had a bigger house, right?
Insane. It shouldn't be this expensive to live. It really shouldn't. My husband works military reserves and works full-time for the state. On his salary, like 25 years ago, I would have been able to stay home and actually afford it. And we would have a house of our own with 2 vehicles. Not an apartment because we can't afford a home. 1 vehicle. And me staying home because we can't afford childcare. Millennials and Gen Zs are truly just being robbed.
Folks, welcome back to Bull Boom Bear Bust. My name is JJ, back with another dose of economic reality. Why do we show these videos? A couple of you were asking. You were like, JJ, what do we do? We know these people out there. You know, some of you are name calling and saying that they're brainless and they can't figure things out. Folks, this is most of the population. And yes, later in this video, we're going to show you how you can make money off of all this. There's easy ways to make money. And investments that we've talked about here have already went up 300, 400, 500%. If you'd have been on this channel years ago and followed just a couple of the trades that we've done, we're up like 400 or 500% in some of these investments. And we'll touch on that later in the video. But why do we talk about people like the video that you just heard from? Because this is most Americans, folks. And things are about ready to get even harder. Things just got worse. We're going to talk about the homeless, the cost of living, the job situation, those numbers. But what's about to happen, things are about ready to get a lot harder for most people. Now, corporate America, the big business, top 10%, doing better than ever, right? And will likely continue to do better, continue to gain more wealth off of the bottom 70, 80, 90%. This money gets funneled up to the top. As most of you know, that's how the system is set up here. But that last person that we heard from talking about her rent in Central Florida, that's Alex iShear1. Alex iShear1. So go ahead and maybe check her out. Give her your thoughts on what she talked about. I agree with pretty much everything that she said. I was kind of joking about her not having an extra bedroom. I'm sure she wouldn't laugh about that if she heard it, but it's true. I mean, people would love to have a bigger house, but now for just a studio apartment, 1 bedroom, you're paying $1,000 a month. And most places, some places you can get a very small apartment for less than $1,000, but even small towns, the small town I grew up in Michigan, I go back there, I can't believe what the prices are. The prices in a small farming town back in Michigan, where I grew up in Southwest Michigan, now today are what California was just about 8 or 9 years ago, right? That's crazy. California prices have now crept into a lot of the country across America. Even small farm towns today cost what California costed just 7 to 10 years ago in most cases. It's crazy, folks. And there's no sign of it letting up because the powers that be right now, the ones in control, steering the economy, if you will, want prices to go up higher. They even said it. They want lower interest rates. They want to make it easier for people to borrow money. Lower rates, they do that. More easy money. They want the lending to be loosened up so people can borrow more money and have an easier time borrowing a lot more money when debt levels are already at a crisis level right now and defaults are spiking in every different category that you can look at. They want to throw more fuel on the fire, more helicopter money. They want to flood the economy with more money. Easy loans, low interest rates, you name it. But let's talk about some current news. Then we'll get into some more people and see what's happening across the country here with this situation. Also, a little bit later in this report, we're going to talk about what just happened with homelessness. I'll let you guess. Do you think the homeless situation got better, or do you think it got worse? Do you think there's more homeless today than even last month? It's gotten worse, folks. It's gotten worse, and it's looking like it's only going to get worse from here. Nothing's being done to fix the cost of living, folks, and that's where it all stems from. Once people can no longer just work a regular job and get by, then they go to substance abuse, and they get depressed, and then they start doing other crazy things. And before you know it, they're out on the street. They can't even function in society, right? But we'll get into that a little bit. But first, take a look at this. Look at this, folks. We talked about this 6 months ago, right? Even longer, further back, maybe a year ago. As soon as the tariffs were being discussed, we said Americans are going to pay for these tariffs. I was ridiculed. I was called the doom and gloomer. They said I was wrong. They said I was fear-mongering. They said I was negative. I was just telling you what I thought was going to happen, folks. And every month we see inflation is positive, meaning prices aren't going down, costs are rising, the cost of living is rising. And now they just came out and admitted it. The Treasury Secretary of this current administration came out and admitted it. The tariffs are paid by Americans. Came out and admitted it, folks. After a while, you just have to admit it, right? You can tell the people one thing and expect them to believe it, but when things continue to get harder, when the costs keep rising and everybody can see it, then you might as well just come out and admit it. And of course, they finally did. Tariffs are paid by Americans. Of course, you think the companies are going to eat the tariffs, right? And they wanted some companies to eat the tariffs. Remember, they came out and they told Walmart, they said, Walmart, your profits are high. Go ahead and eat the tariffs. Keep the low prices there. Didn't happen, folks. Walmart even switched to mostly digital price tags because they were tired of paying people to change out those paper tags on the shelf. So now they just have to click a button in the back room somewhere. It's probably AI. It's probably an algorithm that changes the prices. And I think it's because the price tag changing got to be too much with all the rising prices. So they went the digital price tags, folks. Cost of living getting higher. And take a look at what else we got on the tap for you today for this news. We're not seeing prices come down, and the trade war is just getting started, folks. Just beginning. That's how they put it over at Axios. Just beginning, right? And we just had a deadline that was passed, which is going to mean tariffs are kicking in, going into effect here, and you're going to start seeing prices rise at these retailers, at the stores. I think pretty in the near future, maybe even this week, you're going to start seeing noticeable price increases as far as I can see. Now, I'll spare you all the details, all the different tariff amounts in different countries, because these things are changing sometimes by the day. And by the time I put the video out and you watch it, it might have changed. That's how volatile everything is right now. And things are just apt to change so quickly. But we do know that one thing's not changing is costs are rising. Things are getting harder. And yes, you can make money on this. We're going to talk about that here towards the end of the video, maybe about 75% through the video. But first, let's take a look at another news item here I wanted to bring up here. And let's jump into real estate real quick. The housing market, that's the backbone of the, well, I should say the money supply and easy money, that's really the backbone of keeping an economy functioning. Right now it's a debt-based economy, so you have to have people borrow more money to be able to continue to live. Without that, without more debt and easy money, everything comes to a screeching halt. So I should say the money supply is the real backbone. But one of the other backbones and components of the economy, of course, is housing, real estate. And the U.S., we have the highest total market cap when you look at the cost of all the real estate. We have the highest in the world here, even higher with countries that are population that are triple of ours. That just shows you how expensive our homes are here. Look what's happening, though. We were starting to see a very noticeable increase in inventory. And what's happening now is sellers are starting to pull their home off the market, waiting for prices to rise. So I think they're waiting for interest rates to drop. There's a lot of speculation out there and rumors that interest rates are going to drop at the next meeting I think they may be right, because that's been kind of a battle that's been happening here recently. Sellers hold off listing homes while waiting for prices to rise. So those that were hopeful of a drop in the real estate market, a price correction, so you can maybe get your foot in the door, buy your first home, or maybe move to a bigger home, maybe even not your first home. Maybe you sold your home and you started renting, and then you wanted to buy a home again, but then prices shot up too fast, and now you're stuck renting until prices come down. Those people that are waiting for prices to come down may be in for some bad news, because the more sellers pull their homes off the market, it's going to be sticky for prices. When sellers flood the market with homes, then you have that balance gets tipped, and then it's a buyer's market, but it's going to stay a seller's market. It looks like if this continues to happen, then if they cut rates, folks, it's going to make things even more difficult for people trying to get into a home, unfortunately. Now, you can argue that lower rates would make it easier. Initially, yes. If you get yourself a mortgage right when rates go down, then that would be the best time. And you're going to see a lot of people flood into the market at that time if rates go down. But then what happens is, in just a few months, is you have so many people that are now eligible to buy a home because of the lower rates, is prices start going back up. So at first, yes, it helps to get a few people's foot in the door, so to speak, into real estate. But then prices shoot up. You have more bidding wars, more people qualifying for loans because of the lower rates, right? So, folks, it's about to get even more difficult. And let me know if you disagree. Maybe some people told me that I was wrong years ago, saying that there was going to be a housing crash. Folks, we've nailed this. Exactly what we said would happen is happening. Bubbles are not bursting. Prices are not crashing, right? People said the 2008 financial crisis was going to happen all over again. It hasn't happened, folks, because the banks are still there. They're not going to be allowed to fail. And they can easily change the way things work. They can lower rates. They can force banks to loan out more money. All right, and just keep them propped up in the background. But let's move on to some other news here. Something else to add to the pile, so to speak. I guess no pun intended. Pile. Add to the pile of things that are going up in price, things that are too expensive. Now trash. Trapped by trash. This is out in Arizona. Arizona man says it'll cost him $1,200 just to stop garbage pickup. So not just the bills are going higher for your trash bill, $1,200 to stop, to not have garbage picked up. What's going on there? So look what's happened here. They're locking people into 3-year contracts for garbage pickup, folks. And if you don't cancel it within a certain amount of time before the contract renews, they're going to get you with a cancellation fee or a contract avoidance fee. I'm not sure what it's called, but $1,200, folks. But before this person's bill went from $76 a month in his community up to $202 a month. So not only are prices getting higher here for trash pickup, they're breaking the contract's going to cost this guy $1,200. There you go. Early termination fee. Quote, you just can't justify it. Unquote. Stewart told AZ Families on Your Side. Quote, they can increase it as much as they want. They don't have to tell you how much it's going to be. And that's what he found out. Unquote, folks. So everywhere you look, businesses, companies are looking to get more out of you. Get more out of you. Get more out of you. And most people are already in debt. Most people just don't have it. They're already scraping to get by, borrowing money just to put dinner on the table. And now this on top of all that. Also, look what else is playing out. Just like we said here over a year ago. We said manufacturing is not going to come roaring back because, again, the cost of living's too high here. Companies don't want to come here and pay these super high wages. They want to stay where wages are lower. And even with the tariffs, companies aren't pouring back into the U.S. And even if they did come back, it would take years to get everything set up and running smoothly to where you would see a noticeable difference in jobs and in the economy. In the meantime, Wall Street Journal put it like this. The pledge to bring back manufacturing has failed. The sector is sputtering because of uncertainty about tariffs and consumer spending, which goes along with the cost of living being too high, folks. It's a no-brainer. I can't believe how many people didn't see it playing out like this. How many people didn't see this exact scenario on the doorstep. It was on the front door. All you had to do was look outside the door, peek back behind the curtain, or look through the little peephole, and you could see it right on the front step. And if you didn't think it was getting worse, check this out. Stunning new data reveals 140% layoff spike in July, with almost half connected to AI and technological updates, folks. Your employer, and maybe you work for a small business where the owner's a real nice guy, but we're talking about corporate America here. Your employer, especially if it's a big company, really especially if it's a big company, they're looking to get rid of you. They're not keeping you there because they're nice or because they want to help you. You're helping them more than they're helping you. If you weren't helping them more than they're helping you, they wouldn't have you there, folks, because it wouldn't be worth their money or investment in you. They're keeping you there because you have to be there, because things wouldn't get done if you weren't there. But as soon as they can replace you with AI or something else, automation, or as soon as they can get someone else to do your job and put more workload on other people to take your job, you're gone, folks. They're going to get rid of you. And we said, again, another example of exactly what we said is playing out. Layoffs spiked 140% in July. Crazy, right? Check this out.
Y'all realize that we are literally killing ourselves to afford and maintain stuff. Like when I was growing up, my mama had a minivan and my daddy had an old hunting truck. Then he had a work truck that he used, and then he had air conditioning. And they were happy. We ate good, and we went on vacations once or twice a year to Six Flags or wherever, and went hunting and fishing, and just, we lived life.
I'm laughing because it reminds me of my family. My dad was an alcoholic. He somehow managed to keep working, and he didn't last at some jobs because of his drinking. Even my alcoholic father managed to pay off his home early, like 22 or 23 years into the loan. I mean, still a long time, but that 30-year loan was paid off like 7 or 8 years early. My dad was an alcoholic. Drunk, almost a drunk. Not quite a drunk, but he drank a lot. All right, let's continue.
I remember growing up as a teenager looking through the Chevrolet book that my papa had, and you could have all the options of an extended cab Chevrolet Z71 as you could think of. Leather seats, cloth seats, power windows, and a radio and air conditioning. And they were $20,000 trucks. Now, fast forward to our generation, and we're out here buying $35,000, $40,000 side-by-sides with heat and air in them and pulling them with a $100,000 truck.
$100,000 trucks. It's crazy, but it's true.
And on top of that, your wife's driving a $75,000 SUV, and y'all living in a $500,000 house that's 3,000 square feet, and you got 1 or 2 kids.
That's because it's all finance, folks. If it weren't for financing, prices would not be this high. It would be the reason prices are so high is because borrowed money.
We out here buying $200 tennis shoes, $100+ blue jeans.
I think he's exaggerating a little bit. Yes, there are some blue jeans that cost $100. Yes, there are some tennis shoes that cost $200. I think he's kind of upped the price on everything to make a point. But who knows what the numbers he's giving out today may be the norm in 6 months. Who knows? Let's finish up here.
Shotgun. Don't even get me started on the hunting industry.
All right.
We just got a bunch of stuff to look cool. I think we have gotten so far away from the actual, like, what it's really about in life that we have tried to maintain this image. Meanwhile, we're out here throwing away all this money. We got nothing to look forward to for as financial freedom because we're all so far in debt, we're never going to get ahead. But here's the thing you need to think about. Our children. Think about our kids. Think about what we're teaching them and setting them up for. A house, when my son's 16, and my other son is 20. Whenever my 2 boys go and decide to buy their first house, the 20-year-old's in the Navy, so he ain't got to worry about buying nothing right now. But say if they both buy a house in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Can you imagine what a $500,000 house is going to cost then? Look, at some point, this has got to pop. It really does. I don't really think that we can stand the strain anymore. I mean, I don't know. I'm just a dumb old country boy just thinking out loud. Fitting to go in Lowe's and buy a weed eater for probably what it costs to.
All right, he's not a dumb old country boy. He's asking the question that a lot of people also don't know. You heard him say it's got to pop, it's got to pop, it's got to pop. Millions of other people thought it's got to pop. Prices are too high, so they got to come down, right? Not if they keep throwing helicopter money at this thing, folks, and make it easier for people to borrow money. I think they're going to cancel the loans again. Maybe not. This administration right now is making people repay these loans. Will that make a difference? I mean, let me know what you think about this, folks. Let me know down in the comments about any of this, these topics, the spike in layoffs. Where does it go from here? What's it going to look like in a few months, folks? Is a bubble bursting, or is it going to be more pain, more strain financially as prices continue to rise? That's a big question. How can you make money on it, folks? My thing is silver. I started talking about silver here on this channel years ago. It was $14. Now we're just under 40. All right, so you would have nearly tripled your money there. I've thrown stock picks out there that have went up 200, 300, 400%. I'm not looking to buy right now, not anything on my radar. You just got to be patient and look for opportunities, right? And if you can make 200, 300% in one trade, maybe even 400 or 500% if you look at some of these digital assets that we talked about here, right? We talked about XRP back at 20 cents. Now it's $3 something. That was what, a tenfold increase, folks? Got to keep your eye on these things, folks. I mean, maybe you don't need to, maybe you're fine, but if you really want to get ahead, and some people even keep your head above water, you got to invest. A lot of people aren't investing; they're just working harder. They're working side hustles, gig economy jobs, second jobs, third jobs, multiple income streams, multiple incomes in the household, meaning everybody's chipping in. The parents are working, the kids are working. Now their in-laws are living with them, and everybody's chipping in, folks. So what's happening, man? Higher prices, folks. Keep stacking. As always, big love. Bye for now. Stay good. Peace.